Hey, guess what's happening on this week's episode of the Beating Diabetes podcast with your friend and host, Oscar Camejo.
As you all know, this podcast is all about helping diabetics make lifestyle changes to reverse type 2 diabetes. That's what it's all about. And this week I have a special guest with me, actually the first and very first guest, Shelton Echols. What's going on, brother?
Man, I'm good, man. How you doing? I appreciate the love, man.
Yeah, of course, man. Shell, we go back how many years?
Well over 20, somewhere around 25.
Wow. And we've been friends for a real long time and have seen ups and downs in each other's lives.
Yeah, ups and downs, more ups and downs, but there's a balance to everything.
Right. So the reason why I wanted to have Shell on the show was, his story is real compelling. And, not just because of diabetes, but just all around great guy. I've known him, like I said, for well over 20 years, but in that there's been so many experiences that he's had that I figured, this show, because it's real authentic, is all about showing people the real side of life. And, we're both not doctors, anything like that.
Right.
But we have a message and we really feel like this is the time to really get the message out. So. How you feeling, man?
Man, I'm great. I feel good.
Yeah, you look good, man.
Thank you. You as well.
Thank you,
man. Hey, we hardly recognize each other.
Right.
Now, you know what I'm saying?
Right. So, Shell, for those who don't know you, and this is their first time, getting to meet you, and they're about to hear your story in a little bit.
Okay.
But tell everybody where you're from and, what life was like growing up.
Well, I'm originally from Asheville, North Carolina. I've been in Atlanta since '97, since August '97.
Mm-hmm.
Life has been about balance for me.
Mm.
It's been about balance, man. And I've had my ups and downs in life. For lack of better words, I've played the cards that I was dealt. The best way I knew how.
Right.
So I guess I can say life was great.
Right.
Life is great. So I guess, I overcame everything, overcame whatever I came, to get to the point where I'm at now.
So yeah, man, growing up in Asheville. So what was life like growing up, cooking wise, cookouts and families getting together and stuff like that?
And it was about what you might think it would be. I mean, growing up in small town Asheville, like I said, we ate, eating was a little different because of the way the food was processed and stuff.
Right.
So we ate, even though we ate pork and stuff of that nature, it was clean. It wasn't hormone out and everything.
Right.
So we ate a lot cleaner.
Mm-hmm.
And we got a lot of stuff from local farmers. We used to have a guy come around, man, fruit man come through the neighborhood and have his fruits and vegetables and stuff. So it was good. Cookouts, basic hot dogs, hamburgers,
Right.
So we got it in. We got it in,
So in terms of like you say eating off the farm, what about like bad habits and stuff like that?
Eating, man, we ate bad too. We ate bad. It's a food called liver mush. I don't know if you've ever heard of that, but they sell it at Ingalls. Only place they sell it is Ingalls.
Wow. Ingalls still around?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. They still got Ingalls. And souse meat and Vienna sausages and sardines out the can, stuff like that. So
pork feet?
Pig feet, chitlins, pickled pig feet. Man, we used to eat them straight out the jar, dude. Pickled pig feet straight out the jar. So we ate bad too.
Wow, you ever ate chitlins?
Yes.
Well, I've never had chitlins.
Really?
Nah,
never in your life?
Never in my life.
Oh, man.
I don't think I'm going to try.
I wouldn't either. Not at this point. No, you can't.
Right. So, kind of fast forward, what year did you move to Atlanta?
I came to Atlanta in 1997.
Oh, 97. Okay,
yeah,
2 years before 97.
Me. Right.
Okay, 97.
Yeah, 97. Yeah.
Okay. So kind of being in Atlanta, I mean, what was your eating like coming from Asheville, hometown, to Atlanta? Did
Hmm.
things get better? Did they get worse? Or
They pretty much stayed the same because coming here, it was a lot more options here. So,
right.
here you got your convenience stores, you got your people pulled over on the side of the road cooking the ribs, and it's a lot of more bad options here, but
Right.
it's some good options as well.
Right.
But when your
Okay.
knowledge base ain't that know to go to the good options,
Hmm.
you stick to what you grew up with.
Right. So kind of let's fast forward to the time that you got ill
Hmm.
with diabetes. Kind of tell us, for people who don't know the story, like how did it happen? Like, how did you find out?
So the year was 2000, 2003.
Mm,
2003. Never forget. Um, I had something going on with my knees.
Both
So
knees?
no, just one. I'm
Oh,
sorry,
just
just one.
knee? Oh,
Yeah,
okay,
knee.
okay.
And I went to the emergency room downtown. It was called
Mm-hmm.
Crawford Long at the time.
Mm-hmm.
Now it's DeKalb something, but it was Crawford Long there. So I
Mm-hmm.
went there and was going to get my knees checked out and everything. So they did a urine test.
Mm,
So in the midst of them doing the urine test, it came back that I was spilling protein in my urine.
mm.
So I didn't know what that meant.
Right.
But the doctor came back and just told me after the urine test, "Hey man, you need to go see your PCP."
Mm,
So once I went and saw my primary care, because he said, protein technically spilling over into your urine means you're pre-diabetic, that you're dealing with diabetes.
wow.
Yeah. So I went, saw my primary care.
Mm-hmm.
She did the same test and everything, and she diagnosed me as being a diabetic at the time.
Wow.
So when that
So
happened,
past pre-diabetes
oh yeah,
into
it was just straight. You're dealing with
wow.
diabetes. Yeah, it wasn't anything pre
Type 2.
type 2.
Right.
So she told me that I can start taking pills.
Mm-hmm.
So I was taking a glipizide and another one, metformin and glipizide. Metformin kind of it didn't work with me. It didn't work with me at all.
Mm-hmm.
So I was taking glipizide. So
And doing injections and stuff?
no, just the glipizide
Just
at the front.
okay.
So they tell you when you be diagnosed with diabetes, whatever, start you off. Well, for me, they told me start off on the pill that I can I can get off of it if I change my eating
Mm-hmm.
and exercise. I can
Right.
pretty much beat it. So me being me, I always thought my thinking was diabetes is hereditary. I
Mm.
never knew nobody in my family that was dealing with diabetes. And back then they didn't call it diabetes, it was called sugar.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying?
Got sugar.
You got that sugar.
Got that sugar. The
Got
sugar
that
got
sugar.
you.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
Wow.
So I never knew nobody that was dealing with it in my family. Never saw nobody taking insulin, never
Mm-hmm.
heard about it or nothing. So at that point, that was an escape window for me because I was like, oh, I've been misdiagnosed and ain't nobody never in my family did it. So I didn't take it serious at all. So this went on from 2003 to probably 2015.
Wow.
Yeah. To like 2015.
So you were first diagnosed in 2003.
Yep.
And then 2015 came. So go ahead.
So when 2015 came, let's backtrack to 2014. 2014 came, and I started kind of getting serious about wanting to lose weight.
Because how much were you at this point?
Oh man, Oscar, at that point I was probably about 325.
In 2014.
Yeah.
How much were you weighing in 2003 when you first went?
Probably about 295, 305.
So you gained weight steadily. Okay,
because I was still eating bad.
Because you still eating bad.
Yeah, I was still eating bad.
Right.
So 2014 came. I got this itch where I wanted to lose weight.
Right.
So I kind of caught the health bug. So I started eating right, start exercising, start doing my my healthy, my smoothies in the morning for breakfast, smoothies at
Yeah.
night, and I would just really eat for lunch. So weight was coming off. Weight was coming off, man. So 2015 came. So I took all this into 2015.
Right.
So 2015 came. It was like I was feeling myself. I
Right.
saw myself in the picture for the first time. Like,
Right.
you're in the mirror, you see yourself in the mirror, and you can't really
Right.
see the weight. For me, I can see mine in clothes. And dude, when I saw myself in that picture,
Right.
I couldn't believe it. I hadn't saw myself that size in a long time. And I wasn't even checking the scale at this time.
Right.
So I would just saw it, and that motivated me more. So I was doing what I was doing, continually eating clean,
Right.
working out every day. But the downside, I wasn't taking my medicine. I wasn't taking my insulin or nothing at that time.
Right.
So, that's what ended up hurting me right there, because I wasn't taking my insulin.
So you were saying you went to your primary care physician and you started seeing a nutritionist.
Right. She put me off on a nutritionist to help me learn how to eat right. But I was still eating right, but I wasn't doing what I needed to do as far as taking my medicine. So she told me my A1Cs were astronomically high. They were like 12s. And, at one point I even had a 14.
Wow.
A1C. Yeah. And I wasn't taking it.
I was at 12.
Yeah.
When I found out. But go ahead.
Really?
Yeah.
Man, I was at a 14 at one point, and I wasn't taking into consideration how this really could affect my life.
Wow.
Because I just feel like if I'm getting up, breathing, and doing this, then I'm okay.
Right.
I was okay. So I went in one day, man. She told me, if this A1C ain't down, lower than what it is now. She didn't even put a number on it. She just said lower than what it is. I'm gonna put you on insulin.
Wow.
So I was like, nah, I can't do the needles. So she gave me a random, called me in 2 weeks later. Put me on the insulin. Man, that was the hardest thing in the world. So I started taking my insulin again when I wanted to. Take it 2 weeks here, take it a week here, don't take it a month. So I just eventually just stopped taking it.
How many units do you remember?
At this time, I was right at about 7 or 8 units.
Oh, okay.
But it was twice a day.
Yeah,
breakfast and dinner. So I wasn't doing the breakfast, lunch, and dinner. I was just doing breakfast and dinner. So, but I wasn't taking it serious at all. And
did you have like the fast acting insulin and the slow one?
I had the slow one and the long and the long. Yeah, I had the slow one and the long one. Yep, I did.
Man, they like to prescribe the medication. Well, but anyway,
go
ahead. So what happened next?
So after that, still working out. I noticed I started increasing urine. I started urinating a whole lot more. Wasn't paying no attention though.
Right.
Wasn't paying no attention. So one day I was sitting on my couch in my apartment, sitting on my couch, and I just got out the shower, sitting on the couch, putting some socks on, lotioning down, and I noticed under the bottom of my left foot, I had like a small little pinhole. It was a little about the size of a pinhead. But I ain't paying no attention because you could see the skin. I just thought it was skin peeling.
Right.
I ain't paying no attention. Over time, over about 3 months, it started to get bigger. Now, at this point, I'm scared. Knowing I need to go to the hospital, but I'm scared. Don't want to hear them tell me what I need to hear them tell me.
Now, what were you feeling in your physically? Were you feeling anything?
I wasn't feeling anything.
No numbness? Nothing?
No numbness, no tingling, nothing.
Nothing.
I wasn't feeling none of that.
Wow.
And I knew not to walk around barefooted because, that was one thing I did do religiously. I didn't walk around barefooted because, they always tell you stump your toe or something. You step on something, you might not feel it. So I wasn't doing that. But I was just afraid to go to the doctor to hear them say what I really needed to hear them say and get control of it. Right. I never forget, this was on a Wednesday. Actually, the Sunday before. It was on a Sunday. And I was at work. And the woman told me, she came up to me and she said, are you sick? And I was like, nah, I ain't sick, you know. Like,
Right.
she said, I'm looking in your face, baby. An older woman. She said, I'm looking in your face, baby, and you don't look good. So I went to the bathroom. I had just popped a 5-hour energy drink. I was on them. Now,
Ooh.
going through all this, my energy was sapping.
Wow.
5-hour energy drinks wasn't really working like they used to. I went to the bathroom and I looked in my mirror, and man, look, when I looked in the mirror and I really just saw my face, it was like I saw a shell of myself.
Wow.
It was, I looked sad.
Mm-hmm.
I looked sick, but I looked really sad, and I didn't feel that way, how I looked. So this was on a Sunday. So come Wednesday, I was off work.
Right.
Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. Now this was July 24th, July 22nd. I was at home, and I found myself laying on my couch, because I would sometimes just sleep in my living room because the big TV was in there. So I was looking at the TV and fall asleep. Found myself on the couch laying there, and I went to get up to use the restroom, and I was guzzling water. I'm talking about, I was drinking at this time, this is no lie, I was drinking around 2.5, almost 3 gallons of water a day.
Wow.
I couldn't stay hydrated because every time I drink, I'm urinating. Drink, urinate.
Right.
So I found myself getting ready to get up off the couch. And when I got up off the couch to put my shoes on to go to the bathroom, I felt a pain in the bottom of my foot.
Which foot? Left?
Left foot.
Left foot, okay.
Bottom of my left foot. And it took me so long to get from the couch to my bathroom. It took me probably about 10 minutes to get from my couch to my bathroom because I was drained. Go use the bathroom, come back, lay down. So that was my routine for 3 days. Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. Friday afternoon came. I hadn't called nobody. And if you know me, like you know me, I like to talk. I like to do, you know, so I had that.
Folks.
I had not called no one. I hadn't called my daughters, my sisters. And that Friday, a lot of people were calling me. I was sending them the voicemail. I was tired.
Right. You were
sending
drained.
Man, I was drained.
Okay.
Send them the voicemail. So Friday afternoon, my cousin came by the apartment to check on me because my sisters and them had sent her by there because she stayed out by where I did.
Right.
I heard her knocking on the door. Boom, 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 boom. And she said, Pooh, you in there? I heard her. I just didn't say nothing. Had my phone on vibrate. So she left. I think Ramon came by, if I'm not mistaken. I want to say he did, but I don't want to quote on that one, but somebody else. So I'm laying there. My sister's called. I didn't answer the phone. All of a sudden, my ex-wife and my daughters come to the door. Boom, 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 boom. I know you in there. I see your car out there. You in there? I'm quiet as a church mouse because I don't want to be bothered.
Right.
You know, my thing is I'm tired. I just want to lay down and go to sleep. I'm laying there. So she left in front of the door. At least I thought she left. My sisters called. So I said, you know what? I'm going to answer the phone so they'll at least know I'm good. So they'll just leave me alone.
Right.
I answered the phone. And I was like, yeah, I'm good, Keisha. I'm just laying here. I'm tired. You know, I'm just taking a nap or whatever. And right when I said that, I heard my ex-wife say, I knew you was in there. I ain't gone nowhere. Come open this door.
Right.
So I get up to open the door. The couch to the front door was probably about 20 feet. Give or take. It took me 20 minutes to get from the couch to the front door.
Wow, you were in that much pain? Plus you were tired.
Pain and drained. I get to the door, open the door. When my ex-wife saw me, she said, there's no lie. She said, and this is what I remember. And then after this right here, everything is what somebody told me to happen.
Wow.
She said, you in here getting high? She said, I looked like I was getting high. You know, and I was like, no, I ain't getting high. I remember saying that. And she said, what is that smell? She said, you done used the bathroom? You done used the bathroom on yourself? I said, no. The smell was my foot.
Wow.
I had a diabetic ulcer from that pinhole, and it grew.
It just kept growing.
Gangrene was setting in, and it was starting to rot. And it smelled that bad, but I did not smell it. I did not smell it.
So you in the house,
3 days.
Isolated for 3 days.
Straight.
Not talking to anybody, not contacting anybody, not answering phones, and here your family's looking for you. Come to find out, you in there sick.
And they're dying, pretty much.
Wow. So go ahead. So
for lack of better words, I was dying.
So what happened next?
So when she asked me that, and I said, no, I ain't boo-boo, I ain't use the bathroom on myself. No. And from that moment right there, I don't remember anything after that except when I woke up in the hospital.
So you passed out? What did they tell you?
Well, my ex-wife said that I kept asking for water. She said, I kept saying, well, give me some water. And I was butt naked. I was butt naked. I don't remember none of that. I was butt naked. She kept saying that. I kept saying, just give me some water. Give me some water. So she ended up calling the police. I mean, the ambulance.
Ambulance, okay.
Yeah. And she said it took everything in her not to cry in front of me. So, and I was like, wow, really?
Wow.
So the rescue people came. They took my blood sugar. They took my blood sugar on the spot. Man, my blood sugar, dude, this is no lie. My blood sugar was over 600-700 at this time. That's being for real. And they said, we got to get him to the... Now, this is what they told me that I was saying. They said, we got to get him to the hospital now. So they helped me put some clothes on. Took me down and everything. Once I get to the hospital, they took me to one hospital I ain't gonna name right now, but they took me to one that it ain't reputable. So my mom came down at the time. Right. So my mom came down and was like, nah, get him out of here. He got insurance. Take him to Piedmont. So I ended up going to Piedmont. From there, I really was in and out, so I really don't remember nothing, but I went straight to ICU. Straight to ICU. And so in the process of going to ICU, this was still Friday night, early Saturday morning. I remember Sunday. I don't remember anything on Saturday. I remember Sunday. And I remember one of the doctors, he was a black guy. And he came to me and he said, we're going to have to take your leg. And I was like, no, you ain't got to take my leg. I'm good. He said, sir, we're going to have to take your leg. So in the process, they took me down from Sunday. They took me down to scope the foot to see if it could be saved.
Right.
Couldn't be saved. So this goes into Monday morning. Monday, they end up telling me I had to, I'm going to have to either get the amputation or die. It's just either one.
It had gotten that bad.
It had gotten that bad. So I remember my daughter, my youngest baby, came to me. She said, Dad, we need you. We need you.
Wow.
So
how did that make you feel, man, when she
right
said,
when she said that,
you?
man, right when she said that, dude, I knew what I had to do at that point. I knew what I had to do. I had to come out of the pride. I had to come out of the, I'm a tough guy. I had to come out of all of that. I had to be stripped straight down. And I had to live for them, for my kids and my family, and really for me, my kids, my family, everybody. So I ended up agreeing to the amputation. This was on a Monday. So I went in for the amputation on a Tuesday. And from then, that's where.
Wow. So let me ask you a question, man. Okay. So that time when they told you that we're going to have to amputate your leg, and you was like, nah, you don't have to do that, how did that make you feel? You heard your daughter tell you, Daddy, we need you, but literally, what kind of emotions were you dealing with during that whole decision period? Went from that first time they told you need to go ahead and get it done to your time that you was like, yeah, I need to go ahead and get this done. Like, what kind of emotions were you dealing with?
I was in a mode to where I wasn't accepting it. And I couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe that I had allowed myself to get to this point. I was in a lot of denial. I was in a lot of denial. That's what was making me say, nah, man, we good. Let's do it this way. And, at that point, that's when I really wanted to straighten up. That's when I really wanted to get it together at that point. Right. It was too late. So those were the emotions that I was really dealing with at the point. Denial more than any of it.
Wow.
Denial more than any of it. And was just like beating myself up like, man, I really can't believe that I've allowed myself to get to this point.
Wow.
This point.
Man, so I knew bits and pieces of your story over the years, but to really sit here with you and hear you tell it, I'm a father as well. And man, for our daughters, especially the youngest ones that come and tell us something, it really hit us really hard. So we're going to take a quick break.
Okay.
And when we come back, we want to hear the rest of Shelton's story.
Gotcha.
Folks, if you want to connect with me, you can always email me at hello@beatingdiabetieslifestyle.com. Also on Instagram at beatingdiabetieslifestyle. Listen, if you want to send me a video with a question or a comment, you can also use the HiHo app. That's HIHO. This is a great new way to literally connect with me and share a question by recording a video. I think that's a great way for us to connect as well. Now, let's get back to this week's episode. Okay, well, we're back, folks, and we're here with Shelton kind of going over his story of being first diagnosed with type 2 diabetes, had a hospital scare, and found out that he had to get his left leg amputated. So kind of pick up on that story, and how did you feel about yourself, like literally at that point when they told you, man, your leg has to be amputated, you went through the procedure? What were you feeling like even the day of the procedure?
A lot of it, like I say, was a lot of self-guilt. I could not believe that I had got to that point. And that was really denial and self-guilt.
Right.
Now the day of, they kept me, because I was still in some pain. So they kept me kind of medicated really good. So I wasn't feeling it. So a lot of that was in and out, really sketchy in and out. I can remember when I got out of surgery from the amputation, and I was in the bed, laying in the bed, and I came through. So when I came through, I had, my mom was there. My daughters weren't there because they was in school. No, they wasn't in school. They weren't in school, but they weren't there at the time.
Right.
Wait a minute. Yeah, they were there. So I had family around the bed. I even had a couple of homeboys. Mom was there. Somebody else was there, brothers that came in.
Right.
So after I came out of surgery and I came through, I was looking down, you're laying in the bed. So I'm looking down and I see my right foot under the covers, but I don't see a silhouette of my left foot, left leg. So at that point, that's when I was like, okay, this is real. Still wasn't feeling no pain really because I was on morphine at the time. So I was really in and out. So I had the little green button. I push it when I need it.
Yeah, they had you on the good stuff.
Yes, Lord. Lord have mercy. Man, I can laugh at it now.
Right.
But I remember when they told me they was going to wean me off of the morphine, that they was going to wean me off from morphine to oxy. Now, oxy's still strong. Yeah, but not like morphine.
Right.
I was mad at them. But I was laying there and I had this, I don't want to call him an orderly. He was an
attendant.
Guy. His name was Brandon. And he would come in, man, and this guy coached me through everything. I mean, he was there to motivate me.
Right.
I'm talking about, I was even scared to look at it to see my residual limb. I was afraid to look at it because they didn't close it up. Because what they did, they didn't close it up for about 3 days. because they wanted all the infection to come out of it.
Right.
So I was afraid to look at it. So they would come in daily and change the dressing and stuff of that nature. So I told him one day, he said, what do you think? And I was like, dude, I ain't even, I'm scared to pull the covers back. I said, even when they change the dressing, I look straight up in the sky and close my eyes. And even changing the dressing hurt. What it was, the nerves were still, because it wasn't closed up, the nerves were still active in there. So it hurt. So, I mean, I used to be in tears when they would change the dressing.
Wow.
So, because the gangrene had went up so far, and they cut right, so I'm a BK or below the knee.
Oh, below the knee.
Yeah, below the knee. BK. So I still have my knee. I got, so what they did, they cut down under the calf muscle. They pulled the calf muscle up over the incision and, you know, sewed it together and everything.
So it can heal that way.
So it can heal.
Okay.
So they would do that. So Brandon said, why are you afraid to look at it, dude? It's your body. So we was talking for about 30 seconds and he just grabbed the covers and just pulled them back. And he said, now look. And I was forced to look. And I said, oh, okay, it ain't that bad. So we got through that part. They came back, did another surgery to close up the incision, you know, everything. And I was laying in bed one night and one day in the hospital. And at this point, that's when I really start really strengthening and getting my mind right to talk to God at this point. So I asked God. At this point, a scripture came in, 1 Corinthians 10:13.
Right.
And it's pretty much just say, you know, you ain't the first one that trials and tribulation that happened to. If this wouldn't have happened to you, if you know,
right,
you know, all that. So I'm just paraphrasing right now. I'm sorry, y'all.
No, that's okay.
But my thing was to ask God, okay, if you knew I couldn't handle, if you knew I could handle this, if you knew I couldn't have handled it, I would not have been an amputee. Because it's something about when you know you can handle it and you know that, you know, it's something for you in that area, nothing will happen. It's a lot of stuff that go on in the world today. And I don't mean to branch off, but a lot of stuff that go on in the world today that don't happen to us because God knew we can't handle that.
Right.
He know we can't carry that cross.
Right.
So my thing was, okay, Lord, this happened. And obviously you trust me with being an amputee.
Right.
What's the mission behind this? What's the mission behind this? Because this just didn't happen for me just because unhealthy eating and all that type of stuff.
Right.
that played a part. But
right.
Yeah, because So his answer was teach people how to be healthy. Teach people how to love themselves. And so
that's powerful, man.
Yeah.
So say it again, teach
people how to be healthy,
and
teach people how to love themselves.
How to love themselves. Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people don't love themselves, man, and maybe that's why they have the bad habits that they have.
Yeah.
That's what I'm finding too, man. Like, you know, when people know that they have to make a lifestyle change. I mean, I was there too. And sometimes you go through stuff in life and you get into depression and self-hatred.
Yeah.
For some people, they have low self-esteem.
Right.
And then it just translates into the way they eat, and then it starts affecting the health and whatnot. And, you know, but yeah, continue.
And once he told me, once I got that answer, then I knew what the mission behind it was. So things just start opening up. Doors start opening up. It's like before I was an amputee, I never knew that it was a world, a community for amputees.
Wow.
So I'm going through, at this point, I'm going through my rehab. Because I'm thinking when you have the surgery, you automatically going to get a prosthetic. I didn't, you know, and I'm not, and I'm not thinking that it's a process.
Right. Because we watch TV and movies, and when that happens, you get a prosthetic
Exactly.
limb.
You get it right then. So
right. And it doesn't work like that, right?
You got your process where you have to heal. The incision has to heal. Staples have to come out. Then you have to quote unquote train your residual limbs. I don't call it a stump because people say, "Oh, you stump." No, I ain't no tree. You know what I'm saying? It's my residual limb. So you have to shape your residual limb because it's big and just big and round.
Right.
But you have to put this thing on it called a shrinker, and it's nothing more than a compression.
Yeah.
Compression sock.
Okay.
Compression stocking, and what that does, it shapes your leg, your residual limb, and you need your residual limb to come out to be like a cone shape.
Right. So be prepared for
the prosthesis.
Right.
So once all the swelling and you shape it, then you can start getting fitted for the prosthetic and everything. And that, it takes a minute, and everybody heals different. So I went in July 28th, 24th. I was back at work on a prosthesis November 9th of the same year. So roughly 90 days.
So Shell, you were talking about, your lifestyle, what it was like eating and exercising here or there, trying to get stuff together, but it was already pretty much too late.
Right.
You have the procedure done. You're going through emotional stuff. Now it's part of the healing process, getting your leg physically, prepared for this next level. I'm assuming you ended up going back home. You having to now start back at work. What changes did you started to make at this point? Like what changes did you started to make and why?
Well, the first immediate change was taking my medicine the right way. I started really looking at, because you got to realize when I first started this, I was 325. I got all the way down to about 240. When I was coming through rehab, I was at 221. Man, I hadn't seen that in a long time.
Wow.
221. So at this point, it was, I'm out of the hospital. I don't have a prosthetic at this point.
Right.
But I'm out. So now the biggest thing I have to do now, my A1C was down to a 5. So I was on point. So my thing now, I have to maintain this. So the whole time I was in the hospital and rehab, that's where my mind frame was. Okay, when you get out of here, it's almost like they have repaired you. They done got you back where you need to be. So now they're going to release you. You have to maintain this lifestyle right here. So once I got out of the hospital, A1C of 5, blood sugar running right around 101, 102.
You're fasting.
Man, I'm good.
Fasting blood sugar. Gotcha.
Yeah, I'm good now. And so in the process with that, I had to start taking my insulin, right? Because I knew I wanted to get off of insulin. Right. And the high blood pressure, the hypertension, I wanted to get away from all that.
Right.
So
because a lot of people don't know there's a connection with type 2 diabetes and high blood pressure, hypertension, and some other stuff. But go ahead.
So I wanted to come off all that. In the process, I was living with my sisters because I couldn't stay by myself. I needed to be around people at the time.
Right.
Because I was learning how to transfer. I was still in the wheelchair. Transferring from the bed to the wheelchair, from the wheelchair to the toilet stool, from the toilet stool to back to the wheelchair.
Stuff that we take for granted.
Wheelchair to the bathtub. It was a lot of transferring. So I had to, have people around me just in case I fall or something to happen. So at this point, my sister, she's a chef. She cooks. She loves to cook. So she started cooking more of the healthier stuff because I was living with them. So she was cooking more of the healthier stuff that I had to eat by. So I didn't even have an unction to want to sneak and do nothing at the time because the scare really scared me.
Right.
It really scared me. So just trying to live, do the right thing, change up the way I take my medicine, make sure I take my medicine, and then make sure that I eat quality, good meals versus Burger King, McDonald's. Now, don't get me wrong. Now, I would have days where I would cheat and, cheat days or whatever. And it was still would bother me sometimes when I would do it, even though I would do it. That don't make sense, but it would bother me. But, I cheated.
You're not alone, man. People go through that.
Yeah. So I cheated. and got right. And I started learning about the amputee community through my rehab, through my therapist.
Right.
And they told me about how they have conferences for amputees, magazines, and just different stuff out there.
Right.
So yeah, I just started putting myself in the community. Start going to meetings.
Right.
Amputee meetings. We would have meetings every Tuesday. Go in there and just talk, and whatever you're dealing with, you put it on the table. The group heals itself.
Right. Yeah, that sounds familiar.
Yeah, you're right.
That's an inside thing.
Right.
Yeah.
The group heals itself, and
right.
that's what we was doing, man. So that was
another inside thing. We're not going to tell y'all what 180 stands for. That's a whole
I still practice
thing.
that. I still practice that to this day.
Yeah, me too.
I promise you I do.
So, lifestyle changing, sister, you're living with your family, sister's preparing meals, and physically things are slower from what
very much slower.
Very much slower.
Very much slower.
And so what about like the physical exercise? How did that change from that point on? You started eating different.
Right.
But then you also had to take the medications, but then now you have this limitations on what you can do physically.
Right.
What was that like?
It was really hard because, it was, I would have to do a lot of stuff from the bed or the wheelchair.
Right.
And, I would have to do my, the biggest thing as being an amputee, what they tell you to do is strengthen your core. Because if your core isn't strengthened, it's going to be hard to walk on a prosthesis. It's going to be very hard.
Because it's all connected.
It's all connected. Everything is connected in, and the prosthesis is carbon fiber. Then you got a foot, everything. So prosthesis weighs about 8 to 10 pounds. So if your core is not strong, then it's going to be, you'll be dragging that prosthesis. You won't be able to walk. So you got to do the core. So I was doing my core from the bed. I was doing a lot of it from the wheelchair.
Right.
And when I got strong enough to get a prosthesis, that's when I was, doing certain stuff. I wasn't doing nothing hard. I was doing the elliptical a little bit. Then I was doing the treadmill. Yeah, I wasn't doing no real heavy lifting or nothing. I was just trying to keep the weight off and strengthen it at the same time. So yeah.
So you were talking about the community of amputees that you learned about. And I guess it was would you say it was a support group that you had?
Yeah.
That you had. So in that support group, what helped keep you motivated to keep going and not just give up, cave in, and quit?
Well, I'm actually a licensed, certified peer counselor.
Y'all heard that? Say that again.
A licensed, certified peer counselor.
Wow. Congratulations, man.
Thank you. And when I got the mission to help people from this, that's one of the avenues that doors opened. So I still to this day, I haven't done it in a couple of years since COVID, but I would go into the hospitals, rehabs, and talk to people that are either going to have an amputation or that are coming out of an amputation.
Wow.
Because some people have a choice to get amputated. Some people don't. Where, like me, I didn't have a choice. I had to.
Right.
Some people have that choice to where they, to where they choose to get the amputation because they're tired of putting a Band-Aid on it versus just dealing with the problem.
Right.
So a lot of questions in it of what is it like being an amputee? So seeing that I had already went through it and went through my training and everything, we're there to answer those questions for the individuals that are going through or coming out of an amputation.
Wow. So as a being licensed and you have your creds and your papers behind you and you're able to really help people, that kind of sets you on a different path, a different mission now. Because would you say is no longer about you?
Absolutely. And to be honest with you, it was never about me. It was always about someone else.
Right.
It's just that I'm the vehicle helping other people.
Wow.
So I had to go through something in order for Ralph, Jane, Tom, or whoever
Right.
to get their healing to come out of it.
Wow. And so going through that traumatic experience, what is life like for you now?
Life has been I've had ups and downs. I have my moments sometimes to where
Sure.
I have my me moments.
I get you.
But I've gotten used to being an amputee now. I've embraced it totally.
Right.
Life has changed a whole lot, especially during the pandemic. I've learned how to do stuff that I just call it modifying, but I still live normal.
Right.
Like walking up the steps with groceries. An able-bodied person will walk up with the groceries in their hand. If I'm going up steps, I just use the reusable bags, put them on my forearms, and go up the steps that way. So it's a lot of modifying, but we still can live the same quality of life. It's all about your mindset and how you take it and move forward with it, because I say being an amputee isn't the end of the world. I'm still doing a lot of stuff that I was doing before I had the amputation, good and bad.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So,
okay. So, you saying, life is good now. What doors, other than, helping people through the education and counseling as a peer counselor, what other opportunities have opened up since then?
Well, other doors have opened up as far as I've gotten married.
Oh, congratulations, man.
Going on 2 years now.
Wow.
Also, been more health conscious of what I eat and everything. So, started a business in the midst of a pandemic.
Really?
He really started a business.
A lot of people were going in the opposite direction, but you started a business.
I started a business in the midst of a pandemic, and
tell us about that.
Okay,
business.
And the business started based off of I'm a CMOS vendor.
Okay.
So yeah, I'm a CMOS vendor. And how I got into CMOS, I was looking for better ways to naturally do stuff without continuously taking the medicine, even though I'm still doing that part. But
right.
I want to wean myself off. So I was looking for natural remedies, stuff like that to kind of help me out, regulate my numbers, keep them regulated, keep the hypertension down, and speed up my metabolism, stuff like that.
Oh, nice.
So I ran into CMOS. And when I ran into that, I would hear all kinds of good stuff on how many minerals it is and some of the benefits from it. And so I really wanted to try it. I tried it. I actually liked it. And instead of me continue, I still take it, but my mind frame went somewhere else with it. My mind frame went to, okay, well, you got you a jar right here, but you also got 5 or 6 jars right here. So that's when the hustling mind frame came in.
Right.
I was like, okay, let me see if I can move some of this.
Right.
So that's how it started.
Moving the CMOS weight.
Moving the CMOS weight. I ain't playing no games. And that's how it started.
So for those who don't even have a clue what CMOS is, break it down real simple so that the average person who's watching or listening knows what it is in a nutshell.
Okay. I'm going to give you the short version, but it's going to be a quality version. So pretty much what CMOS is it's an algae from the ocean, a plant from the ocean, and it has 92 of the 102 minerals that our body needs on a daily basis, because our body don't reproduce minerals. So we need those minerals on a daily basis.
Wow.
So CMOS has 92 of those minerals. It helps protect your immune system. It cleans out that mucus, that bad mucus that hangs around by the foods that we eat.
Wow.
I eat dairy and stuff of that nature. It
right.
cleans that mucus out. It also speeds up your metabolism. It's an appetite suppressant. It helps strengthen your lungs. It helps your digestive system break your foods down better. Pulls the inflammation out your body. It helps. It aids in the area if you have cancer. It helps in the area. It's not a cure,
Right.
but it helps in the area. It helps pull radiation out your body. It's good for the sex life. It's just a
Okay.
whole lot of benefits
to
that
it.
a whole
And
lot
you
of
said
benefits from it.
92?
You get 92 of the
Min-
102 minerals that your
Wow.
body needs on a daily basis.
So now you started taking it for yourself because you had heard about it,
Mm-hmm.
and then you started seeing the benefits to yourself, and you was like, hey, you know what? Let me start making more. How did that actually? Did you start telling people about it and people wanted to try it? Like, what kind of results were people having?
So I started taking it for myself,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm a social media junkie. So I post everything on social media,
I
stuff that I
remember.
don't mind people knowing.
Right.
So I start posting results. I start posting how it started. The first things that I started noticing was immediately the increased energy. And it wasn't like a 5-hour energy drink or a shaky. It was more of a natural energy that we need. I started feeling it. I started seeing myself. I wasn't getting as tired doing this. I had more motivation into, if I'm washing one load of clothes a day, now I'm washing 3.
Right.
Without getting tired. I couldn't sit still. When I say sit still, I just found myself having more energy. It wasn't, like I said, it wasn't a shaky energy or whatever. It started cleaning out my mucous membrane. So I start feeling that mucus drain and cleaning out. I start breathing better.
Right.
And this was in the midst of a pandemic.
Right.
So I started feeling myself breathing better.
And your skin looks great, man.
And that's one of the things that it does do. Thank you. I appreciate that. And that's one of the things that sea moss does for you. It helps with the skin. It helps with blemishes. It helps with eczema, psoriasis, dry skin. It helps moisturize your skin because it starts repairing our skin cells from the inside out.
Right.
Bringing that glow, that natural glow, that elasticity that we keeping our skin tight.
Right. So for people who may be skeptical about, sea moss, or they never heard about it, because sometimes people get afraid when they hear about minerals and stuff like that because there's a lack of knowledge. What would you tell them to do in terms of researching what sea moss is, and even kind of tell us about your company if somebody wanted to get a hold of some of your sea moss
products? Okay. So the first thing I would tell the people to do is the number one thing I always tell them to do: go to Google, research it yourself. Once you research it, of course, you research it on Google, go to YouTube, you'll see a lot of people talk about it on YouTube. And once you do that, find someone who is reputable in sea moss, because you have good sea moss and you have bad sea moss. And, so you have to find a reputable, very reputable sea moss vendor.
Right. And somebody who knows what they're doing. Right. And so what's the name of your company?
The name of my company is King Echols Sea Moss. Really, Echols Enterprise. King Echols Sea Moss is under it, is under the umbrella.
Okay.
Yeah.
And how would people get in touch with you? Are you like on social media?
I'm on all platforms, social media. I'm on Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat. And I have a website as well.
Okay.
So Facebook is King Echols Sea Moss. Instagram is King Echols Sea Moss LLC. That's KingEchols SeaMoss LLC. Snapchat is the same, King Echols Sea Moss, and the website is KingEchosSeaMoss.com.
So so would you say the website is the main place you want people to go to?
Yeah, you can go to,
then they can get everything else from there.
Yeah, because you can go to any one of the social media platforms, and the link is always in the bio. So you can go there. You can go on Facebook, Instagram, click the link. Once you click the link, it'll take you straight to the website.
Right.
And go from there.
And probably what I'll do is go ahead and put the link to the website and his information in the show notes to this episode. Now, folks, as you all know, I don't push products. I don't push meds. You know, I'm really into the natural whole foods and stuff like that. But one thing about Shelton, I know about him, he's a man of integrity. I've known him for years, as I've said before. And this is one of those times where I'm like, you know what? You know, this is not a sponsor. You know, he's not paying for this advertisement. It's nothing like that. But I believe in him, and you know, going through what he's gone through, and I'm seeing the physical changes with him. You know, you can hear from me. He's somebody who you can trust, and like anything, you know, you try the products, you try the lifestyle changes, because that's what the whole podcast is all about. You know, beating lifestyle, beating that. The whole podcast is, you know, beating diabetes lifestyle, right? So I'm all about teaching people how to make lifestyle corrections. And that's what he went through. Out of that came this idea for a business, but the purpose of the business and this product was not only to help heal his body from the inside out, but is to also help people. So get a hold of the information. There's a lot of resources, as he said, that you can find on the internet. So, Shell, as we wrap up the show, if you can give advice to anyone who's listening or watching right now, who may be at that point where, like you were back in 2003, and not really taking things serious, what advice would you give to that person? And then what advice would you give to the person who find out that they have to change their lifestyle right now, or they're going to have to either get amputation or they're going to die?
Mm. So the first one is the 2003. What I would say, take it serious. Don't play no games with your life at all. Don't play with your life at all. Go get checked out regularly. If your doctor prescribes you for anything, make sure you take your medicine like you're supposed to. Man, like I say, I just wish I had someone to really open my eyes and my ears through their testimony, so I wouldn't have had to go through this. But you know, it is what it is. To the person that has to make a lifestyle change, get some discipline. And this, I'm not being funny when I say this, get some discipline about yourself and really take control of your life, because your life is what you make it. And just think about the people around you that will suffer from you not taking your life serious. Now, for the person or people that are going through traumatic health challenges, i.e. amputation or whatever, do whatever you have to do in order to keep your body right. If you're going through amputation, you can always go to, you can give me, you can reach out to me on social media if you need to. Just reach out to me on social media if you need to. If you want to go through Oscar to reach out to me, that's fine. I give him all the authority to give my number out and reach it. Amputation isn't the end of the world.
Right.
You can still have a great quality of life after amputation or any kind of illness. Just make sure that you're doing your part.
Right.
Your part. And that's the main thing. It means a lot to you and your loved ones that you're doing your part.
You know, that's powerful, man, because I know a lot of you're scared. You hear this story about a man who, was given an option, didn't take things serious at first, even knowing that, hey, blood sugar levels are high, and it caught up with him many years later. The actual habits didn't change. he was making some corrections, but things just didn't turn out. He didn't want to have his leg amputated, but it happened. But here's the other thing too. I want to speak to people to piggyback on what Shell said. In our environment that we live in this society, especially in America, it's so easy to formulate bad habits. There's fast food almost everywhere you look. And it's not like how, back in the day where you can farm and get fresh fruit yourself, the chemicals that are put in foods, folks, and I'm not trying to preach to the choir or to beat a dead horse, but there's so many bad options before us, but there's also a lot of good options. When I was 268 pounds, back in August 2020, roughly, going through some personal issues myself, as I've shared in previous podcasts, I didn't have the support, but I still had to take responsibility for myself. Yeah, there was a lot of bad options around, but I also had to come to the realization that, even though there's a lot of bad choices, I had to focus on the good choices.
Right.
And we don't want you to beat yourself up when you realize that you're overweight, you're obese, your eating habits are just out of whack. We don't want you to feel bad about yourself, but you need to take your things seriously. You need to take your life seriously. Because Shell, like him, when I was first diagnosed, I wasn't first diagnosed as diabetic, as having type 2 diabetes. I was pre-diabetic, they told me.
Right.
And I was like, oh, okay, well, at least I don't have full-blown diabetes. And I just had this arrogance about me. I was like, okay, yeah, I know I got to exercise. I know I got to do this. I got to do X, Y, Z. But I didn't make a wholesale lifestyle change until I found myself going to the doctor, getting a call, and the doctor said, hey, rush to the emergency room because your blood sugar is elevated to, it was over 400 or something like that.
Wow.
And I really felt like I was going to die that weekend. When you were talking about the urination, the frequent urination, it's like every 10 minutes I was going to the bathroom.
Yeah.
Turns out I was
thirsty.
Still thirsty.
Yeah.
I was dehydrated, exhausted, and a whole bunch of other stuff was going on. But in that hospital, I had to make a decision what I was going to do with my life, because I was too also thinking about my kids and my family, and I didn't want to die. So folks, listen, something my doctor did tell me, actually this year when I went back and had my blood work drawn and tested and got a good report, we recorded a video because I told him what I was starting to do and wanted to educate people on the beating diabetes lifestyle. He said, tell your people this. He said, tell folks that today is not the end of your life. Diabetes is not the end of your life, but today is the first day for the rest of your life. I was like, what, doc? Say that again.
Right.
He said, diabetes is not the end, but today is the first day to the rest of your life. And he ended it by saying, so what are you going to do about it? I was like, ooh.
Put the ball right back in your court.
Right. And yeah, he wanted me to, he took me off insulin, wanted me to stay on metformin and all that stuff. But, I got like an A+ rating. He wanted me to start talking to his other patients about, how to make a lifestyle change. And it really set me on this path, man, to really help people. So that's what the Beating Diabetes lifestyle is all about. It's about helping people make lifestyle changes to reverse type 2 diabetes. Why do this? Well, you know what? One of my models, as you guys know, is to stay focused. I know and like Shelton knows, there's a lot of distractions in the world.
Hmm.
There's a lot of things to distract us from eating healthy, from exercising and making proper decisions, even when it comes to how we sleep. And we have to wise up people, because you know what? The food industry, believe it or not, is not really there to help us to live better. In general, the food industry is to sell a product and to make money. And unfortunately, sugar is more addicting than cocaine, they say.
I can believe that. Because sugar's in everything.
Sugar's in everything.
Right. Even when they say it ain't in it, it's in there.
It's in everything.
Yeah.
So, anything else, man, as we wrap up? You want to say anything?
I just hope this show really impacts someone. If it ain't but one person, I just really
Right.
hope that one person or people get this, hear this, and really today take control of your life today.
Right.
It's all in that one quality decision that you make.
Right.
And you can live your life freely. And like you said,
Right.
today is the first day of the rest of your life.
Right.
That's it.
And that's it. So I want to leave you, as you know, I always do each week, I leave you with a focus point. So this week's focus point is this: life may be full of disappointments, but don't disappoint yourself by giving up on life. So let me say that again.
Yeah.
Life may be full of disappointments. We've had our share of disappointment.
That's right.
Even though life may be full of disappointments, don't disappoint yourself by giving up on life.
Wow.
So as always, folks, stay focused, keep moving, never go back. Leap forward, trust God. You got this. I am my man Shelton. We believe in you. You got this. Cool.
That's it. That was good.
Yeah.
That was good, dude.
Hi, everyone. Thank you for tuning in to the Beating Diabetes podcast with Oscar Camejo. We hope you enjoyed this episode. As a reminder, this podcast is intended for motivational and educational purposes only. It is not a substitute for professional care by a physician or other healthcare professional or qualified fitness instructor. This podcast is provided on the understanding that it does not constitute medical or professional advice or services. If you're looking for help on your journey, seek a qualified medical practitioner. It's important that you utilize someone who is a trained, licensed healthcare professional who can help you on your journey toward good health.